Alright guys, we are back with another Raid Shadow Legends video. I hope everyone's having an amazing day. Today we're going to be speaking about the new rare champion that's needed to fuse Bambus Fourleaf in a Petrifya Rockroot, and the ways that she can be implemented into Clan Boss teams to make a drastic change to your guys' team compositions out there. Now, I know that one of the most popular ones is Frozen Banshee in the ways that she can place poison sensitivity and poisons of her own with the default skill. But then this new champion comes through with a decreased defense on the A1, which could be the bigger variation granted that you've got poison sensitivity active. And then with her active skill, she brings the small version of decreased attack, a poison sensitivity as you see there, alongside some poisons of her own as well. So they're very similar, but also very cool in their own rights in the ways that she has decreased defense to coincide with weakened champions, such as my Longbeard here today, or just anyone of your choice. And that can really fulfill a role that you might be looking for throughout your teams if you don't have champions such as Fu Shan in the comp that I'm using today. But before we get into that, let's hear a quick word from today's sponsor in Omni Heroes. Today's video is sponsored by Omni Heroes, a casual fantasy RPG game that's received recommendations from both Google Play and the App Store, and you can download it now for free by clicking my link in the description below to give yourself not one, not two, but 777 summons to guarantee yourself a minimum of 5 legendary heroes. So alright guys, here's the deal. There's a bunch of demons that's holding the Valkyries captive, and as fellow Omni Guardians, it's only right that we bring through our legendary heroes and our unique synergies to take them down. And as there's a brand new storyline and battlefield that awaits us, you'll be sure to see some new powerful heroes making an appearance. And also guys, the highly anticipated Echoes of the Deep event is now live in the game, where you could dive into this underwater adventure on a newly introduced map, which basically offers 3 different difficulty levels for all different player levels basically. And as you progress through the stages, you'll be able to get some valuable coins to spend in the event shop. And for players that continuously log in throughout this event, will get themselves a free Valkyrie Marina that also joins the Valkyrie Manor with another exclusive skin. And you can suit up with popular characters such as Dorabella with not only eye-catching skins, but they come with unique skill effects to dive into battle. And as the event unfolds, for those adventurous players out there that want to take down the big boss, well, how about a new boss that actually gives out some ultimate rewards? So what are you waiting for guys? You can download the game now for free on both Android and iOS devices by simply clicking my link in the description below to get yourself not just a Valkyrie and the new skin and 777 summons, but that will guarantee yourself a minimum of 5 legendary heroes. So one last thank you to Omni Heroes for being the sponsor of today's video, and let's head straight back into the main video. Alright then, so we're now in the Demon Spawn faction, and she actually stands as the 3rd mutation, in terms of skins anyway, from Hellfreak into Hellborn, and then finally into Petrifya Rockroot, which I hope I said the name right in the intro. I can't remember, I'm probably gonna laugh in editing, but there we go. But let's just, call her Rocket from Guardians of the Galaxy. That makes sense. So what she kind of comes through and does is, with the Rock Pulse, attacks 3 times at random, great for Giant Slayer procs, and each hit has a 40% chance once booked, 45% with Sniper Masteries, of placing the Poison Sensitivity debuff for 2 turns. If all hits land on the same target, which it will do in the Demon Lord, will also place a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns. Now, this is really cool to have in the same ability, right? And the only downside I would say, because we are going to be speaking about the pros and cons with the Frozen Banshee, is it's a 4-turn cooldown, which means that I'm going to be focusing on gear sets such as Reflex to get this out more consistently, right? And then also on the A2 with the Desiccation, attacks all enemies 2 times. The first hit has a chance of placing the 25% decreased attack, which could be pretty decent for progression when you're going from hard into brutal maybe, if you don't have other options. But also the second hit will have a chance of placing a 5% poison debuff once again. So her poisons are coming out from active skills, whereas Frozen Banshees, apart from the A3 poison sensitivity, her poisons come out from the defaults. So in counter attacks or ally attack compositions, you're probably going to see that ramp up on the debuff bar more consistently, right? Without cycling skills. But on the Flint Hail, this is where she stands apart from Frozen Banshee, because she's got a decreased defense, small variation on the A1 on a 35% chance on a each hit placement. But when a target is under her poison sensitivity, that turns into the big variation of 60% instead. Now, if you're struggling to fit all of the components into a team, like your drop defense, your weaken, and you're trying to get your poisons in there as well, You can simply use her A1 ability with maybe an ally attack champion or a counter attack, whatever that may be, and fulfill this role for your team. Now, I'm also going to show you with a Vizier, who's a debuff extender, to see if we can really ramp up our poisons, keep them up as much as possible, and see the maximum value coming out from this champion once we have it active 100% of the time, right? And she also has an accuracy aura in all battles by 30, making her for a great lead position champion. Now, in the team that I was demonstrating before, I will need a Force DPS for the Spirit Affinity to make sure that we're affinity friendly and my Heiress does not take the stun. So you could use champions such as the Vizier like I mentioned, or another Force champion such as Fushan, just to implement into the mix to make sure that you got everything covered on the basis. So talking about Frozen Banshee very briefly before we go into the Clan Boss again. Now, she has stood the test of time as one of the best rare champions for poison DPS in this game for a very long time, right? What it comes down to is a 3-turn cooldown poison sensitivity, which the other champion was on a 4-turn cooldown, but she has a poison in that same ability. But this champion doesn't have a chance of placing it either, and it's only a single target, and the other one's a 3-time hitter, right? Just trying to make some comparisons. On her A1, she's got this chance to place a poison once the target is under a poison sensitivity, so it's kind of conditional, whereas the other champion's conditional with the big version of decreased defense, so similar in their own rights. But I would say in terms of full-out poison alone, I think Frozen Banshee may be better, right? But if you are looking for poison / poison sensitivity / decreased defense, then I might be looking towards the other champion to fulfill that role for progression, for sure. And they got very similar auras, with hers being just 5 extra for the accuracy in that lead position. So if you're struggling to get to those stat thresholds, both of them can play a very good role as the lead position champion. So I will be showing a full run towards the end of the video, that anyone that wants to see the full animations throughout the run, I have pre-recorded one for you guys. But just for this one, we've got a lot to get through today in terms of stats and masteries and things, and I also want to throw Vizier into the team in replacement of our ally attack champion to see how that matches up in terms of damage. Now, I have been seeing somewhere in the range of 80 to 90 million per run over the past few runs that I've done. As you see there, 84 million, and she sits at 21 million damage, guys. Now, it's on par with Seeker in a sense, he's in a poison set, so I might take that off for the next demonstration. But, you know, it's some really impressive damage, and if you guys are building your first unkillable / block damage teams, you can see where she can come through and still play a very good role for your team. And also with the Frozen Banshee, let's just say you get 3% resisted, right? Then you don't get any poisons out from that A1 until you get it up again, whereas she just places the poisons regardless throughout her abilities. As you see there, we got 22 million on this one, almost 90 million damage. Want to make sure that we're not getting up to the 50%. We want to keep it on void. But that was just some damage numbers for you guys. So in terms of the ways that I've built this champion today, I've decided to go with a reflex build, which can give us a 40% chance to reduce a random skill cooldown. And this is just going to allow us to come through, cycle the Rut Pulse more effectively, place more poisons, and keep that poison sensitivity active because it's on a 4-turn cooldown, and we want to keep placing that big version of decreased defense, right? And we've also got Retaliation to have a chance to counterattack, coinciding with some Revenge accessories to try and counterattack once more. And I feel like once you start adding these layers, onto this champion, it's going to be very cool to come through and keep using that default skill. Mastery-wise, I've gone with the support tree, trying to do the sniper to have a bonus chance of placing our debuffs, right? Because they're not 100%. And I've decided to go with the Giant Slayer on this occasion. And in terms of the overall stats here, we've gone for 30,000 HP, 3.3k attack, nothing insane here. 193 speed, so slowest of the bunch. 100% crit rate, 236% crit damage, and enough accuracy to place our debuffs on the Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss. And then with Heiress, we have gone for 289 speed, but I will show you the presets as well for anyone that's seeking to replicate a composition like this without a Fushan. Our Masteries, I've just gone down here. This was just mainly to determine the stun target when I had no force affinities, I guess. Seeker was in a 213 speed, maximizing our crit rate and crit damage, not quite 100% so far in a toxic build. Going for War Master and the defensive tree, trying to get some counterattacks. Demiffer going pretty speedy here. We got 321 speed because we don't have a lead position champion with a speed aura such as Fushan. 100% crit rate, decent crit damage, and we don't care about accuracy. With the Masteries, as so forth, so we don't get counterattacked, which I could probably change, I guess, but it's just the way I've had this team for a while now. Don't fix what's not broken, whatever the phrase is. And then with our ally attack champion, I've chosen to go with Longbeard because he had a weaken on a 2-turn cooldown, but also an ally attack to go through and have more opportunities to place that decreased defense, right? And once again, in a reflex build to maximize our damage. So that was basically the builds of these champions today. And in terms of presets, opener, or first priority on the Rot Pole, second priority on the Desiccation, which is an extra chance to place a poison. But when we've got a debuff extender such as Vizier Ovelis, I may consider just turning this off, right? I feel like that could be the best play because we're extending the value of the poisons anyway, and they should add up over the course of the battle. Longbeard, first priority, but an opener with the A2 to place the weaken to coincide with the decreased defense. Opener and first priority on Tailwind. First priority, second priority, and with Eris, just a first priority on Exhaustion. So yeah, I'm just going to quickly switch up this build, get Vizier in the team, and see how it performs. I'll be right back. So alright then, I've now just implemented Vizier Ovelis into the composition, and I've taken out my Seeker who had the poison set on, and now I just got no sets, pretty much. And we can see how it's starting to ramp up in terms of our debuff bar. We've got our decreased defense active, we've got our poisons active, and I actually kept the A2 for the small version of decreased attack, as the first time that I was trying this, it was just pretty hard to kind of cycle our skills and get the poisons up instantly, which wouldn't be a problem over the course of the battle, like it might be more beneficial, but we want to try and get as much damage as possible as we've got only a 50 turn cap, right? And if we're taking nearly 10 turns to ramp that up, you know, we're just missing out on so much potential damage. So we're going to make that sacrifice on this occasion. But you can see here, all of those debuffs, super high now, right? We've got 12 duration on that decreased defense, the big version, and these debuffs are never going to fall off because of Vizier Ovelis. And I feel like this is very optimal for this champion, you know, keeping everything active here. And we shouldn't have a problem up until turn count 50. Boom, we're going to come through some more counterattacks. And he's also the force DPS to pair in those Spirit Affinity teams as well. So a great substitute instead of the Longbeard. Whereas maybe Longbeard might have done more damage because of bringing those ally attacks in. We've also got the Weaken, which we're missing out in this team in particular. So it'll be interesting to see how far we can take this over the course of the battle. Alright then, so I actually headed out to the quick battle feature and seen where the damage taken us instead of sitting for another 15-20 minutes or so. But the damage numbers of Petrifya went through the roof here, 31 million in comparison to the 23 million from the previous run with the Longbeard. But what that team was enabling was we had extra poisons on Seeker with the Toxic set, which was playing to our advantage. And we also had the ally attacks on a reflex build for all of our champions to deal more damage over the course of the battle, which was leading to a better outcome. But still a very good option to bring Vizier into the mix to get the job done here. And now that we're on Spirit, let's try it again and see where we got to. And it all comes down to the RNG as well, because if we're extending only the poison sensitivity, or without it, sorry, it can lead to a pretty bad run, right? But you can see here, 71 million damage. Even though that Vizier was the bad affinity, I'm getting a 1 key on the Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss here. So yeah, on that note, that's going to be all for today's video. If you guys did enjoy it, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Who do you want to see next in the lineup of rares for the Bambus Fourleaf fusion? I was thinking of Selenia. I think she's pretty sweet in terms of the random hitting burn abilities, and maybe some of the epics as well. But let me know in the comment section below. And as promised, I'm going to let the run play out, I guess, for the previous one with Longbeard, so you guys can see it in battle for anyone that enjoys the longer runs. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you all in a video soon. Peace.